You get here and you're like, you think this is going to be the end all be all, and it's not.
The YouTube creator with 10 subscribers wants 100. The guy with 100 wants 1,000. 1,000 wants 100,000.
I thought seeking the higher levels of success would make me happy, and it didn't.
So what happened?
I am at VidCon. Over 30,000 industry professionals and creators meet here every single year to learn how to find further success in online video.
My goal is to build a following on YouTube.
I'm trying to grow my channel.
Spread the word of my channel.
Get my name out there in the community. More people will know me and my name, and then I'll blow up.
Finding real success on YouTube is hard though. We see other creators growing seemingly overnight to thousands of subscribers, millions of views. What is the secret to our real success on YouTube? Events like VidCon can help us discover that, but only a few miles from here lies one of the success capitals of the world, Hollywood. This is the place where people go who are completely unknown and become very successful in their creative endeavors.
If you want success, there's a lot of lessons we can learn there. A friend of mine, Jeff Bartsch, is one of Hollywood's success stories. He built his career in Hollywood as a television editor, producer, and voiceover artist. His editing background includes work for ABC, NBC, Universal, Disney, Apple, and many others. In fact, if you watch any unscripted television for the past 10 years, you've probably seen some of his work. He started from nothing in Hollywood's television industry. I think there's a lot we can learn about his story with success and what it means for us as creators with our own stories of success on YouTube. Jeff!
Hey man,
Hey,
good to see you, man.
How are you?
Doing well, good to see
Thank you for having me out here.
Absolutely.
This place is crazy. Where are we? Why'd you bring me out here?
This is called Hollywood and Highland, named after the intersection of Hollywood Boulevard and Highland Avenue, right out there.
Okay.
And this courtyard is known as the Babylon Courtyard. It's named after a film that D.W. Griffith made in 1916 called Intolerance, and it had like a full-size, like this size replica of the city of Babylon.
Wow.
And through that archway, you can't really see from right here, but all those people up on the arches, they're looking out at the Hollywood sign. That's where they're looking.
Yeah.
So this is where all the tourists come, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff right out there.
I know. I saw a lot of it on the way in. It's
Yeah.
crazy around here. Man, this is not Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So this is the Hollywood Walk of Fame that I've heard so much about. I've never been here before.
Yeah, this is the who's who of who's made it. Personally, for every one person that I recognize, there are like 5 or 6 or even 10 that I've never heard of.
Yeah, most of these I've never heard of before. But apparently they've made it, they've arrived, they've had their success.
Exactly.
They're here in the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
And it's just...
Is this it?
It just makes you wonder. It's like, what were they looking for? What was their mission? I don't know, it just makes you think.
Yeah.
This is 6565 Sunset right here. And this building right here is where I got my first break. So I came out to LA to go to film school. Other than relationships with other students, the best thing that I got out of film school was a phone number from the head of the film department to a guy who worked here. He was the head of post-production on a TV show, and he needed an assistant editor who knew how to run the Avid Media Composer, the industry software. At that time, I had no idea how to do that. And he's like, well, okay, fine. So if you want to learn, then come in on the weekends, like on the nights, and we'll teach you how to do it.
Awesome.
Like, done.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was I came in here to this building for Friday nights and Sunday nights, starting at like 11 until like 4 in the morning for free for 5 months.
Wow.
And I found out later that I just pretty much blew everyone's mind by actually showing up. But it's like, well, duh. Like, as far as I was concerned, like they'd hired me,
Yeah.
but I just wasn't getting paid yet.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? The next time a position opened up for a full-time assistant editor, I was the obvious choice because I'd been putting in the time. That's how I got my first job as an assistant editor on a real TV show in Hollywood. And I actually ended up staying with that show for 3 seasons, and I transitioned to a full-time editor, which is really rare.
Right.
But it was because I'd built those relationships and I'd gotten things going, and I was stoked.
Yeah. I bet at that point you felt like, I got it, this is it, like this is real success. Is that how you felt at that time, or?
Yeah, well, it's like I'm on the road, it's time to move on, it's time to move on to bigger and better things. Let's make this happen.
I can't believe I'm here at NBC Studios. I don't even know like how many celebrities and television stars I've watched as a kid, and
Seriously.
everything of like that parking lot, this sidewalk.
Yeah.
This is pretty surreal.
I was starting to hit my stride editing television, and I got my first network gig, and it was right here. I edited in a trailer in this parking lot. It was a studio competition show that they shot in stage 7 or 9 that way.
Yeah.
And it was kind of crazy. Jay Leno was the host of The Tonight Show right then, and he has a ridiculous car collection. So like we would eat lunch at the commissary here, and the question of the day would always be like, what car is Jay gonna drive to work?
Yeah.
Because you never know whether it'd be like a Lamborghini or a Model T.
Woo.
So it's like, you get here and like, man, I have arrived.
Yeah, for sure. And was that it? Was you were like, this is it? Like, were you satisfied at that point? And this is like all you ever wanted and dreamt it could be?
No. Of course. Like you get here and you're like, you think this is going to be the end all be all, and it's not. It's basically the same thing that I've been doing, like for smaller cable shows. It's just that means that more people are watching. And so I started thinking about what is the point, like what is the next level for me? And then I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which pretty much turned my brain inside out. And it's all about how you think about money. And I'm like, well, what if I started doing something that wasn't just me trading my hours for dollars? And I started putting that all together. I'm like, okay, I should be a movie producer. If I can have the freedom of getting paid more than once and having ownership in something like that and making movies, that seemed like the next thing to do.
Yeah.
So this is Mulholland Drive, and I used to come up here a lot, almost like a pilgrimage, and I would come up to this overlook, and I would imagine being a big-time movie producer. I would say things like, I'm a producer of $100 million feature films.
So what happened?
The more I learned about what it takes to be a successful active producer, the more I realized that that was not a life that I was willing to lead. You basically had to have no life, and certainly if you wanted to have a family, you would not see your family, you would not do anything other than be enslaved to these projects. And I got to the point where I'm like, this whole seeking the higher levels of success, I'm like, I thought it would make me happy, and it didn't.
Yeah, like I've worked with thousands of YouTube creators, and the guy with 10 subscribers wants 100, the guy with 100 wants 1,000, 1,000 wants 100,000. You know, the creator with 1 million wants 10 million. Like, we think that achieving that next level of success is what's going to bring satisfaction, but it doesn't. Yeah. What do you feel like, in your experience, does bring satisfaction to our creative endeavors?
A lot of people say it's all about giving back and being of service, and I believe in that 100%. I've spent a lot of time going down roads that were not aligned with me as a person, even though it was for a good purpose and a good cause, and it just didn't work. So the question became, what are my strengths? And there was a time when someone asked me, it's like, Jeff, what would you do if you couldn't tell stories anymore? And like, just thinking about it right now, it's just like just stick a knife in my heart. And I realized it's like that is one of the deepest core values that I hold. You know, it's not just stuff like family and love and honor and relationships and character and all that stuff. It's like, it's the values that we hold are things that we've done all our life as children, or it's just things that we really love. I'm a storyteller, I'm a teacher, and I love helping other people to tell their stories. And when I put that together with the idea of service, that's when things started falling into place.
What does that look like for you now? Like, how do you do that for people?
The number one way that I'm focusing on that right now is through my channel. It's called Story Greenlight. You know, the mission is to empower storytellers to tell the stories they care about the most.
Yeah.
You know, because Hollywood has for so long been the only game in town. Like, this is like, it's been the place to come when you want to tell a story on a big scale. Technology has changed all that. The world is completely different.
Yeah.
There has never been a better time for storytellers to stand up and tell their stories. There's never been a better time, and the time is right now.
Real success means different things to different people. Money, popularity, freedom, all of these are good things, but if they are our goal, then they can actually ruin our life. And we certainly hear a lot of stories like that coming out of Hollywood. But if instead we see those things as tools that we use to reach people and impact their lives, then our work becomes far more fulfilling. On social media, success is based on the numbers that are just plastered all over our videos, our channel, our tweets, our photos, everything. And it's easy to think that more of those numbers equals success. But we have to remember what each of those numbers actually represents, which is a real live person who's giving you an opportunity to speak into their life. Whether you have 10 people watching or 10 million people watching, what are you doing with that opportunity? The better you manage the opportunity to serve people with your mission, the more success you'll have in every aspect of the word. If you are a member of the Video Creators channel here, thank you so much for your support. You will find a link down in the description below that goes to an exclusive video where Jeff and I sat down and talked about how to find your mission on your channel. And also click to watch the next video in the Creator Stories series.